there, fam. Welcome to PM Personality Profile. This year, your favorite personality show is taking you to another level. My guest tonight, one of the new faces you'll be seeing in the 8th Parliament. He's a planner, a certified international supply chain professional, former deputy procurement manager at Cocoa Board. He's the son of the late former Vice President Alhaji Aliu Mahama, currently Member of Parliament for the Yendi Constituency. Alhaji Farouk Aliu Mahama, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You garnered over 40,000 votes in the Yendi Constituency compared to the 27,000 votes in 2016.
Yes.
That must have been a tight battle.
No, it has been a very determined, well-fought battle with a candidate who was very focused and had a target to send a signal to the people of Ghana that Dagbon, which is the capital of Yendi, appreciates the good work of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana. By showing gratitude in the numbers we garnered, is to say that the peace that he resolved in Dagbon, and now we want nothing but development. And that is what has shown in the results that we garnered in the elections.
What would you say worked for you?
It was hard work. I started this journey from 2016, and I've always thought that I had something good in me to give to the people of Yendi, and having been a privileged son of a former vice president who was the first Muslim vice president from Yendi, and the grandson of the Zongona of Yendi, I felt that the good works of my grandfather and the Zongona and the late vice president, who was the first Muslim, the Gong vice president from Yendi, we needed to wake up to the reality of following that legacy of service, which has been part of my family. And I myself been determined to take Yendi to a new city that today we have garnered the results.
There's been concerns that a lot of the experienced people are leaving Parliament and make way for freshers like you.
Yes.
And people are worried that those experienced hands are leaving. But there are also others who feel that the likes of you will bring some freshness to the new Parliament. What's your own expectation of the 8th Parliament, and what role do you intend to play in meeting this expectation?
I think successive parliaments from 1st to the 7th have all supported and helped shaping the democracy in Ghana, and all supported in whatever they can do to make sure that parliament becomes relevant in the eyes of the Ghanaian people. This 8th parliament is going to be unique, and I always say that there's nothing called first timer. Obviously, you must start from somewhere before you get to another place. And we being first timers, we are eager and determined. The good thing about it is that the new ones who are coming are very determined, and we are not just going to be armchair MPs. We are going to be vibrant. We are going to be committing ourselves to the cause of government business, making sure that our voices are heard. Me in particular, I'm going to be a Yendi MP who is going to be an MP who is going to be very, very vocal, very, very assertive, very, very committed, making sure that whatever committee I find myself in, or whatever support or development that I will lobby through Parliament to take to Yendi, because I'm the messenger of the people of Yendi, and I'm not going to sit down and let them see me like somebody who's not going to be contributing my quota and making Yendi head. And obviously, like my other colleagues, would also contribute, even though we have experienced people like Chairman Sabonsu, and we have Afenyo Makin, Honorable Kennedy Japo, even though on the other side, my good brother and my senior brother, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, and my good friend and schoolmate, Sam George, and Abu Ramadan and co. And I believe that this 8th Parliament is a good opportunity for us to understand that the democracy has really come that far. In those times, you had NPP at 169, but today we have a very, very tight situation. It tells you that irrespective of our political differences, we should be able to have a very cooperative way of doing things for Mother God and sending signals to the outside people and the ordinary citizen that politics is not about being in different parties, but we can be in different parties, but at the same time, we'll come together. And I believe that having a transformational president, a president who is very, very accommodative, he understands what the challenges are, and he will definitely bring all of us on board. And both NDC and MPP, our collective aim and goal is to make sure that we work for Mother Ghana and our constituents, and I think they are the direct beneficiaries of whatever we expect to be doing in Parliament, looking at the situation we find ourselves.
How would you want the Speaker of Parliament, the new Speaker of Parliament for the 8th Parliament, how would you want him to handle the affairs of the House?
I think that we've had successive speakers, and our last speaker, who is a very experienced man, Professor Michael K., has the requisite experience and temperament to be able to manage the situation, expectations. But with this 8th Parliament, I think it's a very unique one. Every speaker or the leadership, both minority and majority, must come together and have cool heads and look at the Ghana as a whole. And I expect the speaker to be very, very accommodative and bringing both houses together on board and let everybody feel that we are working for the interests of Mother Ghana. And my expectations are that a speaker should be a bit of accommodative, be cooperative, and also make sure that we judge, we disagree to agree. And at the end of the final decision that will be good for the people of Ghana, he would be able to make sure that both the minority and the majority we have, and I believe that it will not be a difficult thing because we all have friends in the other side. The minority leader is like a senior brother to me, and he's mentored me very well, even though we have different political ideologies. And I believe that every MP who is fortunate to be in the 8th Parliament must be accommodative to his other side of the House. Likewise, the leadership, and most importantly, the Speaker of Parliament must try to bring all of us together.
You are any ministerial?
The President is somebody who always believes in hard work, and I think as young as we are, we're also aspiring, but I believe that we must bid our time and start from 1 before we get to 2. And obviously, I know Yendi being the capital of Dagbon, and looking at me being the first time, I'm winning with a margin of 16,000 votes. And all the 18 constituencies in Northern Region, I think I had the highest votes. And I know the President would definitely want to groom and leave a legacy. And that legacy of service, which came from his father to himself. And he's also told us he would definitely want to leave a legacy that is more continuing after his exit. And he would definitely want to groom and grow the young one like some of us. So we are hoping that he will have mercy on some of us and consider us for position and see where God will take us to. Yes.
If you were given the opportunity, which ministry would you want to serve?
No, I'm a diversified person. You don't need to always, like for instance, I'm a procurement person, and at the same time a shipping and a logistics background. But whatever role that you must play, for instance, I believe journalism isn't necessarily the only work you do. You have other expertise of what you. Most important is you having worked in a managerial level at higher level like Ghana Cocoa Board and taking decisions to the benefit of the cocoa farmer and to the success of the president. I believe that any level of managerial or any ministerial role, the ministry or deputy, wherever it is, we should be able to do and perform with the needed skills God has given to us. And obviously, the president is somebody who is a masterclass in competence. And obviously, he would expect much from us. And I'm capable of being in any position that I find myself because I'm somebody who is very focused and very meticulous in whatever I do.
Well, I wish you well and all the best.
Yes, thank you too.
You look so much like your dad.
Really? Obviously, I'm the son of him, so obviously, it's the same way I see my children. They also say you look like, and it's the same way your mother. Somebody also say, Aisha, you look like your parents. So it's like that.
I look like
it's
my dad.
Good. So it's the same. So we are all the same. We are direct beneficiaries of our daddy's genes.
But let's talk about you and get to know you.
Yeah.
As the son of the late vice president.
Yeah.
They say you had everything at your feet.
Yeah.
So yes, everything was so cool for you. How was growing up like for the son of a vice president?
My dad was not a vice president. He was a businessman called Lidra in Tamale. And he was a very successful businessman. But my dad came from a very poor background, having been a son of a Zongona. I had a picture of my dad. The next time you come, I'll show it to you. He was walking barefoot. He didn't have anything. His mother was a cocoa seller. He worked hard. So growing up, our father had money. We used to see Edu Boy come to the house, Kufuor come to the house, all the rich people. He was one of the biggest contractors in Tamale. But my dad always never made us to feel life was everything. I remember when I was coming from Tamale to Achimota School the first time, my dad, the list I sent to him, sardine this, he would cancel. He would tell you, no, me, I suffered. He always made us to look at the situation we find ourselves. And I believe that I've really missed my dad, because when I was growing up, I cannot take from the fact that when I was growing up, young guys of today, youthful exuberance, you have friends, they say, let's go to this, let's go here, you are chilling, you think that life is about. My dad always used to tell me that there's nothing than education, and he always wished me well. And I believe that the direct discipline my dad left behind, I've been able to achieve a lot after his demise. It was due to his discipline. He never made it. When he was vice president, when I was going to take, I'll enter bus to university. When I was going to school, I didn't have a car. At times, I'll take taxi to school, even though he had everything. So my dad was somebody who never taught us wealthy things, even though we had all the opportunities in life, being a son of a vice president. But yes, I remember my late father for somebody who was very, very disciplined and didn't make us feel that he was vice president, so we should be misbehaving. But you also can take from the fact that when we were growing up, as a vice president, and once in a while you try to be up and there, but these were things when we were all growing up. And I won't run away from my youthful exuberance days.
They say you were notorious.
It wasn't notorious, it's called youthful exuberance. It's part of that. But I'm happy that today I've been able to achieve a lot for myself. And your past can never determine your future. And I believe young ones like us that are coming up should also have that can-do spirit to see that the sky is your limit. If you are determined to go wherever, you would go.
Are you the first?
Yes, I'm the eldest son. My sister is the first, but she's a woman, and I have other siblings, Fayad and Halim, and my mom is alive. And to be frank, my mom has been my pillar. My father used to always try to put me in line. My mom would be supporting me. My mom's father was the late Morigala. He was the Minister of Trade, and he was also he was the Minister of Education, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and was the MP for Sisala in Tumu, where my mom comes from. And was the first black chairman of Cocoa Board. So I was actually named after my grandfather, Morigala. And he was also the founder of PMP. I think he was going to contest the elections in 79, and they disqualified him, and he brought Liman. So looking at both father's side and mother's side, we say Alhamdulillah, and we just pray that the Almighty Allah will give us good health and prosperity to be able to see where we're also going to go with.
Your grandfather served under the CPP government.
Yeah, my grandfather.
He founded PNC.
No, yes, he was the founder of PMP, yes. No, my mother is with the Gombes, we inherited from my father's side. And I'm a true son of Dagbo. And my father comes from Yendi, and there's no way I would go to my mother's side. Obviously, my children will inherit from me, not my mom. And we, the Gombes, our fathers are everything, not our mothers. Okay. So don't let me go to Sisala, let me go to Dagbon. That's where I come from. Yes.
Quite interesting, but your grandfather also worked with Cocoa Board.
He was the first black chairman of Ghana Cocoa Board, yes.
You also ended up there.
Yeah, and actually my uncle, my mom's brother, worked there. My mom comes after, Mr. Rahman Igala. He was the MD of Cocoa Marketing Board. He went to the London office. He was the MD. He came and became the Deputy Chief Executive of Ghana Cocoa Board. And I also started. So from my grandfather to my uncle to myself.
It's a legacy.
Yeah, it's a legacy, yes. I like that. Thank you.
So you were born and bred?
in Tamale, in Vitim Estate, yeah. I used to go to Yendi for holidays, for Damba with my father, yes.
But why Kumasi? Because I realized that after your primary school, even your primary school part was in Accra.
Yeah, Achimota School.
Finally, you did a lot of your education in Kumasi.
Yes.
What's a Northerner doing in Kumasi in the Ashanti region?
President Kufuor once came to the house, and he had a good relationship with my father, President Kufuor. So he came 97, he came to my dad, and my dad said that he wants to change me a school. And President Kufuor said, there we go, I'm taking your son to my school, Prempeh College. So President Kufuor...
Why not Nava School?
President Kufuor it was about the situation we found ourselves. Okay. So President Kufuor took me to Prempeh, paid my fees till I completed. I was living in his family house in a Pejefie, where my senior brother, Mr. Napo, and his junior brothers were all together before I moved to school. And he paid all my fees. This was 98 to 2000, and made sure that I finished Prempeh College. And I'm proud to have gone to Prempeh College to associate myself with the royals in Ashanti Kingdom, like my classmates, Samuel Tumfo's grandchildren. And that feeling as a man for is very, very, we have a president like President Kufuor, who is an amount for. You have Comrade Kufuor, who was an amount for. You have my godfather, Bedietu, Nana Asante Bedietu. And you see, Prempeh has also produced another MP from Dagbon. So you see how we are going. That is it, yes.
How was the experience like? I mean,
Prempeh was a boys' school. Yeah. And I remember going to church service. So we go morning devotion, afternoon devotion. And Christians, Muslims and Christians who go to church, will do morning devotion, evening devotion. I know all the Old Testament and New Testament. I learned that going to such schools gives you that whether Christian or Muslim, we can all live in harmony. Because I was a Muslim and I used to go to the church service. From church service, Sunday mass, we go to evening devotion and afternoon devotion. And in the video, I go to my mosque. So it taught me a lot of being accommodative, using religion as religion should be a barrier. Both Christian and Muslim, we are all the same. And Prempeh gave me that sense of understanding that we should be able to live in harmony in our religious ways, yes.
What would you say was your most challenging moment as a young boy in the secondary school, especially as a Northerner in the midst of Ashantis in the Ashanti region?
I saw that Ashantis really took seriousness to their children's education. If you look at the northern, like for instance, my late father, he didn't have anything. He was wearing barefooted, always going to school, poverty levels. So I saw that there's a lot of challenge in the north. That is the poverty levels that we have. And these Ashantis make sure they invest a lot in their education. And I think this is what we Northerners will like. We don't really put value into our kids' education. All we know is taking our children to farms, taking them to, how do they call it? They don't want them to further their education. But I think education is very, very critical. And we must always appreciate and know that education is what is going to take us. And education has made me, and education has made you. And it can make any other person, provided we are serious with our children's upbringing.
So at KNUST,
yes,
was the story different?
I mean, it wasn't different. It was.
But at that time, you were grown up.
Yeah, I was grown up. Yeah, I was grown up. Yes, and but KNUST was a place for conglomerate Muslims, Nigerian governors, their children, and it gave us that sense of belonging to associate and make some contact. Like I had this coursemate, Peter Odley. His father was the late governor, and every weekend, the father would fly with his private jet and come, gives him big monies, and some of us, our fathers will say, no, they are vice president, they will not spoil us. So it made us to know that education, if you are focused, whoever your parents are and you are really focused, you would achieve it. Not necessarily looking at the home you come from or what luxuries that or the opportunities that come to you.
But did you feel bad as your dad wanted to control your spending?
I thought my dad didn't love me because he was always being hard on me. And today, I have kids, and I appreciate that. The government say it's not money you give to a child that you should, to show that you love him. Give him that discipline, instill that discipline in him, and tomorrow whatever you have, you get.
So at what age did your father become a vice president?
Yeah, my father was vice president when I was 22, 23 years. That was the peak of the youthfulness. So that got into your father as vice president, so you know. But I'm happy I had gone past that stage, and now I've come out to be a more responsible person. And through those phases, I've learned a lot. I can write a book about friends. I can write a book about people who take opportunity of you with lack of. Some people come because you are vice president and they want to show you, make use of your friendship, and you think your father is vice president, you must do this, you must. But it's not about that. And I'm happy that all those youthfulness in those days are thing of a past, and I've learned a lot. And I always advise the youth coming up that when you are a youthful person, use it in the right way, not use it going out with your friends, go here, drive the nice cars, go. No, it's about being focused. And when you get to that maturity age, all the luxuries you have. For instance, today I have all the luxuries, but I don't want to be seen driving out today. You know, when you are sitting, you have a car, you want to drive here and everybody see that you are driving this. It's not about that. Now we have all the cars we have, but we don't even go anywhere. So that's the distinction between the youthfulness and at the stage that you get to, you see, what is it, you've achieved everything. You just have to take life as it comes.
So from KNUST to where? Coventry?
Yes, no, I did Gimpa.
Okay.
Then I went to Coventry University in London. And that time was a tough time for me because my late father had passed on. And I remember I had fees over £12,000 to pay. And Dr. Mahmoud Baumia supported me, and the current president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, supported me with the fees. And when I graduated in London, he was there in London, and we had a chat. And all this, him, Kufuor, Baumia, and President Kufuor, and President Nana Addo have all supported me. So Coventry after Coventry, I came back to Ghana, and Kukuboard, I got promoted. And I've not stopped there. I had a privilege to go to Oxford University. I have an NGO, what is the Partnership for Poverty Reduction. So the Oxford University invited me to the 2009 Oxford Africa Conference. And I was a speaker there with Mo Ibrahim, and I met AFDB. We had a big platform, and it was about innovations that we bring into Africa, taking into consideration the case study of the PPR, my NGO. We trained almost and screened almost 10,000 prisoners across Ghana, which we teamed with my help behind bars. In the last one we did recently in Yendi, we did almost 1,000 inmates. And then when I got to Oxford, it was a big platform for me in Oxford University. I met a lot of people. And not just that, I was also invited as a speaker to the British Parliament, and I was there as a speaker on the Black History Month, and I tried to sell Ghana to the world. We made a lot of contacts, and also expanding my leadership qualities in Cambridge University. I was in Cambridge University, and I did high impact leadership. I didn't live there after Cambridge. I went to excuse me. I went to Harvard University to do a course in leadership, and that was emerging leaders for the world. And I met the Saudi prince children, a lot of contacts in Harvard University, and all these things we are trying to make sure we implement it into our new leadership rules we found ourselves. And Yendi should be the direct beneficiary of the skills we have and the selflessness that we have, and we think that we are able to take Yendi to a different level. By the way, how is your mom, Haji Aramatsu Mahama? Yeah, she always used to follow your dad around. Yeah, my mom is a very person, very supportive, and she was in Yendi and Tamale to support me during the primaries and the general election. And I think my pillar is my mom. She has that kind of Allah's blessing on her. And every child, when your mother is alive, you are blessed, because whatever your mom says to you is a blessing. I believe my mother has been a blessing to me. Your father, yes, the late Vice President, former Vice President Farouk Aliu Mahama, was very passionate about discipline. Yeah. Would you say, and people say that, okay, can you say same of yourself as being the son of the late Vice President, as someone who has benefited from his passionate appeal for people to be disciplined? Yes, it's very important. As I said, growing up at the age of 22, that discipline and that youthfulness, and as a son, I'm a direct beneficiary of my father's discipline, and that has shown the outcome of where I'm getting to today, because all the stuff which he prevented us from doing today, he always tell me, go to school, wake up and pray. And I think discipline is very, very key in every society. And even after his demise, we've not left it. The Do the Right campaign, we've been doing it. And myself, I've inculcated same to my children. Waking up, when they meet people, they greet them, recognizing the times they go to bed, recognizing the time they read their books. And I think it's very, very important. And I'm a true beneficiary of my dad's discipline, and today I can boast that it has really shaped my life. You say you're who you are today because your father was a vice president? No. My father was a vice president. I was privileged, but I am who I am today due to the discipline my late dad gave me, and my personal conviction of commitment, of self-belief that I can be a better person tomorrow has gotten to me, and hard work and determination and the passion and the perseverance that has gotten to me for me to be able to achieve a lot for myself. Alhaji Farouk Aliu Mahama is my guest on PM Personality Profile. When I return from this break, I'll be finding out from him. He is a planner and a certified international supply chain professional. What does he do? What does that mean? And also find out why he left that lucrative job as Deputy Procurement Manager at Cocobot to join a game many describe as dirty politics. Also, find out from him whether his father was grooming him
to step in his shoes? All of that after this break. Welcome back to PM Personality Profile. My guest, Member of Parliament for the Yendi Constituency. Let's talk about your profession. You are a planner and a certified international supply chain professional. What's that? What do you do?
You know, obviously, in the global world, procurement is very, very now critical, taking into consideration the supply chain in all entities in the world, ministries, departments. And if you look at even in trade, it involves trading, obviously importing stuff from people, sourcing to get the right stuff. So procurement is something that is very, very critical. It involves cost savings, making sure you do value for money analysis, taking into consideration cocoa board. We do a lot of procurements, and we are always interested in making sure that we save a lot for the entity and get the right sourcing by making sure that we source from other places to get the best and well lowered quoted price in everything with that. So procurement profession is always geared towards making sure that there's competitiveness in whatever we do, whatever we are acquiring, whatever we are procuring, making sure there's openness in any tender process or procurement process, making sure there's fairness, making sure there's integrity. And coming to the integrity, I was part of the Scottish Qualification Authority in Scotland. I did a course there in Scotland to always give an integrity tag to yourselves, because when you are dealing with suppliers and other people who are competing for such things, they always need people who have integrity, and there's no bias. There should be fairness, making sure that you use the required tendering process like competitiveness, not always sole sourcing, making sure that you do a restrictive tender or national competitive that is more national that other people can. So that profession is what we found ourselves into, and planning also I did in Mentech. And I believe that these two things are all geared towards reducing cost and making sure that every entity or every procurement activity that you engage yourself, the end of aim is to make sure that you give in a good price and making sure that you get value for money, and also getting the right source to source your procurements.
Let me gauge your mood on this one, about the unplanned nature of Accra as a planner, and with the slightest downpour we experience flooding in most part of the country. What do you think is the problem with us, and what do you recommend as a solution to our problem?
I think successive government have done a lot of work from Rollins' time to President Mahama. But if you look, I think with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he even came out with an innovative way with inner city development, and also it was, that was fully responsible for the cities in town. But I think going forward, we need to take holistically and see how we can restructure and replan. But you can also replan when you have old structures that are there. And looking at Accra, how choked Accra is, it involves a lot of commitment. Maybe government would want to do something in that regard, but we, the humans, and we, the habitants of the area, will be allergic to change. For instance, if you look, the dredging and the other time trying to demolish the sector, when you do that, it becomes like a political thing, and whatever you are doing, it becomes like it's the government that doesn't really. But I think going forward, we should look at how any area we are going to move to, we must plan well before we execute, taking into consideration urban roads, feeder roads, so that at least when you are building homes, you know this is the stretch of road, this is the demarcation, this is where a mosque should be, so that there will be proper plan on paper before every community. But if you look at Accra, where we find ourselves now, to make any changes will be a bit difficult, looking at the space and availability of houses we find ourselves looking at them. But if there's going to be a new direction in terms of building cities and new communities, strategic planning, and how we demarcate and align our drawings is very, very critical, because without planning, whatever you want to execute as a builder or a contractor or as an implementer or as any government agency or urban roads, it will not be achieved. So strategic planning is very, very key.
What would be your advice to your government in dealing with the flooding situation?
Oh, but my government, led by Nado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has done a lot for the people who live within these waterlogged areas.
But there still remain a lot to be done.
Yeah, we're still doing our best, looking at the dredging, and also I see they're trying to do another extension of culverts so that when the water, the proper drainage system, when there's a proper drainage system, when there's an overflow, the water, the direction of the drainage system will direct it. We have done what we are supposed to do, but we cannot say that we've done it all. And I believe that the president and the minister who is going to be responsible for that will obviously do things to minimize the burdens of people during this rainy season. And also critically, the attitude of we Ghanaians must change and have a mindset of being disciplined. When the agencies come in, they want to let people move for them to do infrastructure development to minimize these water problems. We would be committed and allow government the free way to do these things.
Let's talk about your political career. But why did you leave that lucrative job as Deputy Procurement Manager at Cocoa Board to become a Member of Parliament?
I think it's our commitment to serving your people. If it was that I didn't have a vision, I remember my CEO used to ask me and my boss, but I just had that passion to do something great for Yendi, so that one day, wherever my father has left, my name will also be mentioned in the history of Yendi's development, because I believe I have that can-do spirit and the heart to make sure I see my people benefit. And I'm not going to be somebody who have whatever and will not share with my people. And I have already started doing certain works even before I became a member of Parliament. And I've done that 4 years consecutively. It was just an ambition I wanted to achieve. And leaving Cocoa Board is a stepping stone. Having worked there for more than 10 years, at least I've gathered enough working experience. And let's see where the new road that Allah is taking me. Let's see.
Did you know you would become a politician growing up?
I cannot be a grandson of a politician, Murigala, who I was named after, and my father became a vice president, and obviously that, and my grandfather was also an MP for Sisala area. There's no way I would have been. Everybody, we the Gombes, we have a saying that if you have a son or a father and he dies, a son must go far than his father. Okay. And that is how come I believe that my father, even being in his grave today, will be happy that he gave birth to a child who would be greater than him. And that's what the wish of every father in we that Gombes, our circles.
What was your relationship with your father?
My relationship with my father was very, very good. Looking at, there were good times, there were bad times. The bad times was when you were growing up 25 years. He asked you not to go here, you go in the evening, you sneak out and all that. But when I got my first employment at Ghana Cocoa Board, I took the letter to him. He looked at it, he was very happy and said, oh, that's my grandfather's line I'm taking. And I supported my father. He didn't really need anything from me, but we Muslims, I remember my first salary, I took it to my dad. He took it and put it in his pocket, and I went home with nothing. And I believe that that blessing alone is something that is big.
He took the money away.
No, that is how it's supposed to be. If you're a child and you start your first work, your first salary is your parents who are supposed to spend it. That's how we do it, to get the blessing.
I see.
So I think my dad gave me his blessings. I remember when I told him I was going to marry, he was very, very ecstatic and happy. And I believe whoever he is, he should be very, very proud of me for keeping his name alive all these years.
We've been following politics for some time now, and many people were appalled when they felt that your father was not treated fairly some time ago when it was his turn, but he wasn't given that opportunity. Were you appalled also, same as a section of the public were at that time as a young man?
I was part of my daddy's campaign from day one, the launching of the campaign in Mankasim, to all the tours, and to end up on the D-Day in Legon. I was there with my father from morning to the next morning, 7 o'clock. All I saw is that politics, as you say, is full of betrayals. Politics is full of twists and turns. And we were all happy and praying that Farouk Aliu Mahama would emerge. But politics, when you enter politics, you should understand that you are entering it in a mindset of competition. And that if you say you want to be a leader, you must be tested and you must go through election. MPP being a Dankwa Buzia Dombo tradition. It has happened from 96. President Kufuor was contested by Nanado, and President Kufuor won 98 the same. So MPP being a party that trusts in competition, even though I had personal belonging to my father and I wanted to see my father. But it was competition, and at the end of the day, Nanado Dankwa Kufuor emerged. When we went home, we were all disappointed, but we took solace from the fact that my dad told us one thing, that if he doesn't get to wherever he's supposed to get to, who knows, maybe one day his son or somebody can get to wherever he's supposed to get to. And he took it very calmly, and the next day, President Nanado came to him, he went around. It was even through the 2012 election campaign. He never said that he didn't win elections, so he's not going to. MPP is not a party for, if you win elections, it's good, you continue. If you don't, you support. And I think he did a lot. In 2012, he was even on the road with Dr. Bawumia to Upper West, that he got this sickness. And I can tell you that it was through the campaign of the late vice of Dr. Bawumia. And my dad passed on during the MPP campaign in the thick of things.
Yeah.
So at least we are fortunate to have a leader who has been able to lead us to whatever, even though I also wish that my father was a president. But we also planned and Allah plans, and Allah said it was Nanado. And I don't think the MPP delegates made a mistake. They made a good choice, and Nanado's qualities and leadership qualities has been evident for everybody to see. And I'm hoping that we will also learn from these lessons as politicians. Whatever that comes out, we will accept, and we rejoin again and we move ahead.
How did you take the news of your late father's demise?
I was actually with him when he died.
My goodness.
It was on a Friday early morning at 4 a.m. And I was very, very sad, but what can I do?
How old were you then?
I was like 30. I was like 30.
Okay, you were a big boy.
Yeah, I was.
And
old,
I can
yeah.
imagine, I mean, being the
it was
eldest,
emotional, yes, but
you had to calm your mother and your sister and your other siblings.
And it tells us that life, whatever we have, we must humble ourselves. Everybody will taste death, and Aliu Mahama is gone, but his legacy and his name resonates in me.
So you always make that point that you entered into politics because you wanted to maintain your father's legacy. How much so of importance is this assignment to you?
It's important because I must live up to aspirations of the people. I must be humble and show signs of humility and how Aliu Mahama was. And by respecting one another and being focused. And I believe that I've started on a very, very good note, and it's my prayer that we learn from our senior colleagues in government and in the party, and we have mentors who are mentoring us. And we are also learning the traits of politics, and with the support of some of you, and with the praise of the Almighty Allah. And if we really want to serve our people, we must show signs of serving them and not being selfish to ourselves. And I believe that I'm doing such that. And we're just praying that God should give us long life and prosperity, yes.
I believe you know that protecting a family name doesn't just come by winning elections. Your father was a very hard-working man, and no two ways about that. People can relate to a lot of the things that he lived for. How do you intend to champion this cause?
I've already lived up to expectation. Hard work is part of my, if you want to describe me. I don't leave work for people to do, even during my campaign. We can go to campaign, and I'm a hard-working person, I'm a go-getter, and I'm focused. And during the primaries, people doubted my ability to win, and I proved everybody wrong. It's the same way through the hard work and determination. I was able to garner 40,000 votes in the history of Yendi from 92 to now. Nobody else has been able to garner that vote. And the history of Yendi, the developments that I've done, and I'm not even yet an MP, tells you that we are really focused, and we would do more for our people if we have the opportunities.
Great. You say you're from the royal family. You're a chief.
I'm yet to be a chief because the Myong Zongona, the Myong Lana has given me a collar to be the Myong. Even though I'm the grandson of a Zongona of Yendi, but He's also trying to give me a title which is Imyang, and I'm here to accept it. But I come from a very strong royal family. My grandfather being a Zongona of Yendi. It's a very big, Zongona is a very, it's a big position in Yendi, and I feel humbled by that opportunity.
Do you have a World Farouk Mahama Day? A day that
my wife and my kids, I'm always on the move.
Okay.
But whatever I'm doing is for their benefit. So. And
with all this busy stuff, always on the move, what time is left for the family?
Yes, my wife is an understanding person, but I also try to make like whole of 2 hours upstairs with my kids, and they should understand that it's part of their dad's new role and work.
I've heard them scream. All boys?
Yes, 2 boys, yes. The first one is Yendi Aliu Mahama. I named him after my father because he was born on the same day my father died. So
wow.
I named him after my father, yes.
Wow.
And my second born, Nuruddin, yes.
Oh, interesting. Do you listen to music sometimes?
Oh yes, I do. I know I know where you are getting at.
Definitely, you will sing for me. But even before that, you have a passionate game. And
yes, I like playing football. I was in Achimota school as part of the school team. I played in regionals. I played for Tamale Rips in Tamale, and I'm a good footballer. Just that now the energy is not there.
What's your favorite position? Like
I'm a striker.
You're a striker.
Yes.
Wow. Do I
a
get
deadly striker.
Yeah. Do I get the opportunity to go on the field with you?
No, you have to pay.
Because I can also strike.
You have to pay for consultation before you see my skills.
So you listen to music sometimes. I mean, it's not all busy all time.
No. Why not? Once in a while,
you make time to listen to
inspirational music like Fancy Gadam, a song called Nawunyuko, and it's the will of the Almighty, and everything that we do is God.
Okay.
And I don't have anybody in this world. It's God I look up to.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. But you look very fit, and with the kind of job you do, you definitely keep fit. What do you do?
I do exercise, early morning walk. I go on a treadmill, and I do a lot of hard work just to, be in good shape.
Okay. You do
jogging, walking, and all that. At times when I have the leisure time, I play football.
How many miles every
I
day?
walk from here to Kaneshi and come back.
You do?
Oh, yes.
Every day?
Every morning. When I'm free, but for now, since I came, I've been caught up with a lot of stuff here.
You haven't done some walk yet?
No, I've not, yes.
Is that the one?
Yes, this one, yes.
Do a bit for me.
Everything, every word that comes to you is God that does everything. It's not your strength. It's a good song.
It's good to know that at least you can still sing.
Yes.
Fancy Gadam is from Yendi?
It's from Tamale, but he's my favorite musician and superstar in the northern region.
I mean, he's a superstar for all Northerners, I guess, and people love him. Even the Southerners love him. It's been wonderful talking to you, Alhaji Farouk Aliu Mahama. Thank you so much for allowing us into your home. Wish you all the best as you take up your new role into the 8th Parliament as a Member of Parliament representing the Yendi Constituency. Viewers, thank you so much for watching. Same time next week, God willing, we'll be bringing you another exciting edition of PM Personality Profile. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Enjoy the rest of our programs.